Bitcoin is in a potentially very dangerous place, right? We're just hanging on basically by a thread. We're trading under a lot of resistance right now. And here's the thing is if Bitcoin continues to drop going into tomorrow, I think that we're going to be looking at a massacre in the altcoin market. And the last time that I warned you guys about this, we did see quite a heinous drop in the altcoin market. Those of you who are subscribed to this channel will know all about that. Take a look at, for example, Cardano just dropping like a stone, losing all this value against Bitcoin, not against the dollar, right? So these coins performing really, really badly overall, right? I mean, if you compare the performance against the dollar, just so much worse. And the reason that I want to highlight this and bring it to your attention is that I think this is going to present a lot of good opportunities. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down why I think these coins could be dropping and some of the key very concerning signs that we have on this chart, but then also why I'm actually really excited for it, because you know it's really important to understand in these markets, guys, that the best time to be buying is when they're low. And, you know, a lot of people, they really struggle to do that. A lot of people, I saw a really funny tweet today. It said, do we buy or cry when we hit support levels? And it perfectly encapsulates the crypto market, because we're at, you know, just hanging on to a support level right now. But look at the fear levels in this market, right? Yesterday, trading quite close to neutral. I mean, sitting quite close to neutral on this index. And today, quite firmly in fearful territory, borderline extreme fear. And I think this really tells us a lot about where the market is. So here's the thing is if Bitcoin continues to drop, what we see, and this is the key thing that I think is extremely important to understand in this market, is that what we see in these markets is people will buy Bitcoin in anticipation of making money, right? It's a very straightforward idea. People want to buy Bitcoin because they want to make money off it, but they will then potentially venture off into altcoins, alternative coins, because they want to take on a little bit more risk to enjoy a little bit more reward, right? Whereas Bitcoin might make a 10% profit, a shitcoin might make a 15% profit. So you're willing to take on a bit more risk to enjoy a little bit more reward. That's what happens when you're optimistic, right? This is the most important thing to understand, guys. If you're enjoying this video so far, if you know you're going to find it useful, do me a favor and smash up the likes right now. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, because this is so important, is that people do that when they feel like they're willing to take on a little bit more risk, right? When they feel confident. The only way you're going to feel confident in these markets generally is if you're making money. And you're not going to be making money when right now the price is dropping and we're in quite a potentially, you know, fearful state in the market. Coins are going to generally struggle quite a lot. The major coin, Bitcoin itself, struggling, right? And I think, and we'll talk about the US dollar in just a second. It's a little bit strange, actually, how we're seeing a pretty inverse correlation with the stock market right now. So we'll get to that in just a bit as well, because I know you guys like me covering real-world markets and situations. But a very important thing to understand just right off the bat, like I said, is that people will buy altcoins if they're feeling confident with their main investment. But if their main investment, Bitcoin in this case, actually isn't performing so well, well then people are going to be a little bit more fearful and they're not going to want to take on additional risk. And that means that altcoins start dropping, right? Ethereum against Bitcoin, I think, is the best example of this. But if you just look at the Bitcoin dominance just in general, you're going to see a little bit of an uptick right here. You know, it's nothing huge. It's definitely nothing huge. But coming off the past couple of days, Bitcoin dominance has been trending up by just a little bit. And the reason that I think this is really important, right, is that we're going to see the dominance creep up every time the price drops. And that's because people will, again, just be generally a little bit more fearful. They don't want to be open in potentially hazardous and risky positions, right? I mean, if you take a look at, you know, where the big dump really initiated for Bitcoin, and, you know, what we could be looking at something similar happening, you know, with Bitcoin right now, this was around kind of the 9th of December, and we saw Bitcoin gain a lot of dominance up to about the 16th of December, right? And so this is obviously where the pump was happening. And just to give you guys the numbers, Bitcoin's dominance went from 40.36% all the way to a high of 42%. Now, I know that's not a really big increase in terms of percent, but we're talking about billions and billions of dollars moving around in the market. So when you really put these numbers into perspective, it is a big deal. It is 100% a big deal. And if we look at the chart and just take note of what happened on the 9th of December going to the 16th, well, bam, look at this right here. Where is this? This is right around over here. Bitcoin trending down all the way up until the 16th. People become a little bit more bullish over here. People becoming a little bit more optimistic, just coming off this most recent bounce of support. And that's where we see people speculating in the market a little bit more as Bitcoin trends up. But for this range right here, while Bitcoin is trending down, and I got to replay the chart because I know this doesn't look particularly scary, but this actually, like at the chart at the moment, you know, at this time, it looked overwhelmingly likely to break down, right? I mean, everybody and their nan was thinking that at the time in this market, and that's a time where we had quite extreme levels of fear. And like I said, if we're approaching those kind of levels right now, is, well, here's the thing is, those altcoins, they are going to get liquidated most likely as Bitcoin drops, if it does. And if you watched my previous video, because you're already subscribed, you're going to know that Bitcoin has quite a large range, kind of between that $46,000 to $42,000 area where it dropped down to before. So we're looking at potentially quite a huge drop in the market. And the key thing is, this is all lining up with quite bearish signs in the altcoin market. So again, this is something I covered in the most recent video, but I just want to highlight it again, and this time in a lot more detail, right? One of the most common patterns you'll see in a market that's about to drop is, it'll be doing whatever the hell it wants to over here, and then eventually it will reach a peak. It will drop back down to a certain level. Let's just call this level A. We'll then get a nice bounce off, but then we'll come back down to this level and we'll start consolidating around this area. We'll start finding support, but not actually pumping up. We'll just trade sideways, and then we eventually fall through the floor. This is another way of me saying that the market trends up, comes down, manages to get a bounce, but the next time it cannot sustain that upward price action, so instead it just consolidates. This is the key difference. It's consolidation here versus a reaction rally over here, and this shows us that actually, whereas previously on this move up we had the strength to push the market higher, on the subsequent move we did not have the strength to push the market higher, and so that's a potential indication that we're going to drop down. By the way, for those of you who are really switched on and you've been watching me for a while, this is basically a mini descending triangle, right? I mean, this is the if a descending triangle is a human, this is the fetus. Really weird analogy. That's probably one of the weirdest I've ever made, but hopefully you get the point, right? This is the early signs of a descending triangle right here. And that's kind of exactly what Ethereum is doing right now. You can see this 0.079 BTC level per Ethereum token. It costs 0.079 BTC to buy one Ethereum token. You can see that exact kind of thing happening right now. And we're already breaking down as I make this video, but obviously we can recover this up. It doesn't really matter until we drop a little bit further down. But I want to show you a very good example of how exactly this has already happened, right? If we look at this on the Cardano chart, and I'll talk to you about where I think these coins could be going in just a minute, so bear with me to listen to that. One of the key things that I highlighted on this chart, and actually let's just look at a naked Cardano chart because I've already got quite a few things drawn right here, but this is very much the same thing, right? We can draw this area as an area of support, something that looks a little bit like this, and yeah, pretty much what we saw over here was Cardano first getting a nice bounce off this level, and then the next time consolidating here, exactly the same thing I was showing you guys just a minute ago, and then we get the breakdown. Again, what I'm talking about here is these coins against Bitcoin, and this is a very important thing to keep in mind, right? If Bitcoin is dropping and altcoins are losing their Bitcoin value, that means they're dropping even more. You can see this very clearly where if we look at, Bitcoin against the dollar down by 0.8%, Cardano against the dollar down by minus 2.6%, whereas Cardano against Bitcoin is down by minus 1.8%. So you'll start to see that, these coins are losing more than Bitcoin. And I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind, right? Anything that's losing more than Bitcoin is a bad hold at this time right now. My God, look at VPAD. This is one of the key coins I keep on talking about. It's linked in the description, but it is just going crazy right now at $2.10. But and this is one of those rare coins that is just putting a massive middle finger up to the rest of the market, and it's going to do whatever the hell it wants. But generally the rest of the market isn't going to be able to do that, and we could be looking at some cheaper altcoins because of that. To me, that is all very, very exciting. And by the way, guys, you already know I'm only trading all of this stuff on Bybit. If you want to gain access to it, you can do that by clicking the link in the description. And the good thing about that link just now, and it is a time limited offer, is that you're going to get up to $4,100 for free when you sign up using my link and make your first Bitcoin deposit. So it's going to take you like less than 10 minutes and you're going to get free money for it. So definitely check it out because you're not going to have this offer available forever. But moving us back to the market right here, the reason that I think this is potentially so big is that, the altcoin market to potentially drop down by a little bit will mean that we can be looking at getting some good entry levels on these altcoins before the next potential rally, because you guys know my opinion on this. I don't think that the market is dead, right? Even if we do end up dropping down to 42 or even lower, like 40, I'm not very worried about the trend. I still think that we're going to be able to set new all-time highs. Whether we do into it starting right now, or we drop a little bit first or whatever. I don't really care. I'm very, very positive. I'm very, very optimistic about the future of Bitcoin in 2022. And if that's the case, well, I want to be holding more altcoins, because I think that altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin in that, kind of bull market phase. But just for now, while they're dropping quite hard, these are potentially really good buying opportunities, right? And just take a look at this. If we measure it from the high to the current price, right? Ethereum down by 10% right here, quite a large amount. Bitcoin didn't see anything close to this. Take a look at this. Actually, it saw something very close to this. My bad. Bitcoin down by minus 9% compared to Ethereum's, roughly minus 10% right here. So actually relatively close, but Ethereum still dropping harder than Bitcoin. And actually, to be honest, Ethereum is a bad example. If we look at Cardano, for example, we'll see something a little bit more extreme, like here, minus 16% from its high to the current price. And you'll see this across many other coins, like XRP, for example. If you measure this from high to current price, I mean, obviously this is a total shit coin, like absolute filth. It's disgusting. So it's down by minus 23%, right? Really, I mean, this shit coin right here is the epitome of the fat girl that only gets fucked when you're too drunk in the club to give a fuck about anything else. Really, I mean, this is that coin right there. I'm really sorry to say it. You guys know the deal. If you get offended by this kind of stuff, it's time to get the fuck off this channel, because you're way too sensitive to be in this market. Smash up the likes and subscribe if you're one of the real ones that can actually take it. You can take a joke and understand that humor is still fine in this world. And yeah, moving us back to the markets, where might that put us? Well, let's take a look at this. On Ethereum, for example, this is one of the key coins that I want to be watching. I was looking at this resistance area for Ethereum for quite some time throughout this year. And so if we do manage to get a little bit of a drop, it's absolutely well within the realms of possibility that Ethereum falls down to this 0.074 Bitcoin level, which is not a huge drop. I mean, this is less than a 10% drop, but it's still nice. I mean, yeah, it's about 5-6% down. This would potentially be a nice bounce area for Ethereum. And really what that means is, Bitcoin would have to, let's say Bitcoin dropped down to $42,000. That would probably put Ethereum down by about 10%, maybe even 12%. From our current prices, and and I'm just saying that just going off its previous performance, where Ethereum has performed slightly worse than Bitcoin when it's trending down. So I'd be looking at perhaps the low $3,000 area to pick up some more Ethereum tokens before potentially rallying up. And actually, something that I'd be very interested in doing just while I'm live on this video is taking a look at some of these key Fibonacci retracement points, because perhaps there is a very nice bam right there, 0.618 Fibonacci level, and right here is 0.78 Fibonacci level. And let's just extend this out a little bit further and see if we have any other interesting levels right here. The 618 level right here lining up with that 2.9k level. This would be quite a bit of carnage if the market managed to drop down here, but it would be a hell of a buy. Take a look at why, right? If I remove this Fibonacci retracement, you can see that when the market initially set its all-time high at 4.4 just earlier this year, I'm pretty sure this was the all-time high, right? I mean, let me see the market previously. Yeah, my bad. It was definitely the all-time high. Yeah, this is fairly obvious. When we initially managed to do that, it formed a little bit of a dead cat rally all the way up to 2,900, and then managed to drop down again. And actually, by the way, it was forming another descending triangle right here, but it broke out of that prematurely, so that's pretty cool. So this level turned into very strong resistance, right? If we take a look at this, I mean, we saw some quite harsh minus 24% rejections. There was actually a small rejection right here, so we're looking at potentially even a minus 40%, not potentially, definitely a minus 40% rejection off this 2,900 level. But then we fell down to this level and we consolidated very much bang in the middle of this line, and we formed a huge 67% rally. So, just to put this on your radar, some potential areas where if the market does drop, this is where I might be looking at picking it all up again. But the thing is I'm not saying that this is actually going to happen, right? Bitcoin hasn't dropped below these key levels yet. One of the key things I was talking about is this green box right here, and I was saying that Bitcoin could very well quickly recover back up into this box, and if it does it quickly, well then it doesn't really matter. It's all about and this is the key thing I was saying on the channel, guys. This analysis is so nuanced. That's why I tell people to fuck off if they can't, if they're simple-minded and can't appreciate jokes or just whatever, because you're not going to understand what's going on if you're that stupid at the end of the day. But one of the key things I was talking about right here is if the market does kind of consolidate or just stay below this green box, then we would be looking at this area turning into resistance, right? But if we're only on the 1 hour time frame and the market hasn't quite you know, closed many candles down here, well, then we can recover up fairly quickly. So we're in a similar situation right now. You know, I mean, if Bitcoin is able to recover back up into this green box just in the next couple of hours, then I'm not really too worried. It's only if we, you know, trade for a little bit longer and then try and challenge the box, that's where I think we could be establishing some pretty serious resistance. And that's all to say that we haven't actually had the big drop yet. You know, below this area, you could still very much argue that $46,000 right around over here is still an area of support, this yellow line, because you can see some of the nice bounces that the market was able to enjoy. So it's really, you know, below this yellow line, there's absolutely no local support for Bitcoin until 42, you know, where Bitcoin bottomed out, you know, on the initial big drop right there. And so that's where I think these bad things might actually start happening, but we're quite close to that. And that's why I want to put it on your radar right now. You know, I want you guys to be prepared for that if that is indeed what we're going to be seeing. And just to understand again that this all just represents opportunity to me. You know, a lot of people get scared by this. They don't like the idea of their investments falling, and you know what, like, get with it. This is reality. This is going to happen. It's just part of the process. You know, my objective here is to be able to trade these markets and make as much money as I can on the moves up and on the moves down. And guys, if you want to see how I'm able to pull that off, or how I try to pull that off, because it's obviously not successful all the time, you can join VIP by clicking on the first link in the description down below, and then clicking on the @4flights button at the bottom of any post inside of 4flights Gold. Now this first link is going to take you here to this Telegram channel where you're going to get more free analysis from me around the clock. You know, with this YouTube channel, I'm only making 1 or 2 videos a day. On the Telegram channel, you're getting multiple posts on most days, and it's all for free. So check it out. And if you want to then join VIP, just click on the on the @4flights button at the bottom of any post inside of 4flights VIP, and then click on send message to ask me how to join, and we'll give you that information within 10 minutes. If I don't respond to you myself, one of my assistants will. And again, I just want to remind you guys about Bybit right here. This huge $4,100 for free offer is going to end soon. Again, all you have to do to get up to $4,100 for free is sign up using my link down below and make your first Bitcoin deposit. I mean, this really is just going to take a matter of minutes, and you can withdraw that deposit as well. You don't actually need to keep it on the exchange once you get your bonus, and then you can trade with it. You can do whatever the hell you like with it. It's your money. So definitely go ahead and do that to fuel up your trades a little bit more if you're interested in doing so. You guys know that, you know, I'm super happy with VPAD and its performance. I was telling you guys about how bullish I was on it. If I zoom in on this chart right here, just a little bit more, I was telling you guys about how bullish I was on VPAD when we were trading down around in this area. And it's now more than doubled from there. And, you know, one of the other amazing reasons to sign up to Bybit is that the next coin that I think is going to perform just as well, 𝗙𝗙𝗏, is also going to potentially, what am I talking about potentially, is going to be on Bybit. And it's actually one of the first exchanges that 𝗙𝗏𝗏 will be on. So, you know, VPAD right here launched on Phemex. And this is a good exchange, don't get me wrong. I was working with them in the past and I love them too. But it's not as big as Bybit. Bybit is one of the biggest exchanges in crypto right now. And to see that 𝗙𝗏𝗏 is going to get a launch right there, I think is huge. So it's just another reason to be on what is, in my opinion, the best exchange in this space for now. And like I said, I've been working with them for quite some time. So I'm really, really happy with how it's gone there. So, you know, it's worth being around on these kind of places where you have access to the best tokens and the best tools and liquidity and so on. Definitely well worth checking out. And again, you get free money for it. So there you go. Once again, though, if you have enjoyed this video, you know exactly what to do. Hit up the likes, subscribe, tick the bell, and I'll see you all in the very next video. Thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.